Hello and welcome to another City Skylines tutorial. I'm Exterminator and thank you for joining me again. And this one is going to be about making your first city, well not the entire thing, that would be quite a long video, but about the very first steps and a few things you may want to consider and just some personal suggestions of mine if you are someone who just picked up the game or brand new to City Sim games in general, then this will hopefully be helpful. So we're starting out here. Just when you go to select new game, you have maps to choose from. Now I have quite a bit more than you will just because I downloaded a lot from the Steam Workshop, which if you didn't know, by the way, you can download maps from the Steam Workshop, which is pretty damn awesome. There are some very well done maps. But the reason I'm starting here is when you create the map, I just want to go over this really quickly. You are given some choices in maps and names and such, and given some information here. So first of all, you can rename it, which is obviously a good thing. And for whatever map you choose, if you're from the UK or whatever, or somewhere where you want it to be the traffic be where you live, similar to it, you can change this to where people drive on the left hand side of the street. It is default to the right hand side of the street, so that's just something handy to know. And for every map, it gives you some information here. So you have your oil resources, your ore resources, farming resources, and forestry resources. These are pretty much all parts of the industrial group in general. It's a little hard to explain now. I might do another tutorial on that later, but you do probably want to make sure you have at least some of these. And very important is water and then outside connections. And it also shows you a buildable area. So this is pretty much the part you can build on, so it subtracts rivers and all that stuff. So what you do want to watch out for, though, while I'm going over this, is some of these actually do lack a few things. So for the most part, the resources aren't bad. Some places have more water, but like this one here, you can actually see it doesn't have any ship connections, which may not be a big deal breaker, or it may. This can bring in tourists and ship cargo out through ship connections. So, you probably do want to try to pick a map that has all the connections. That's the only default one that doesn't have all of them. And, personally, I kind of like to find somewhere with a decent amount of buildable land and water to choose from, so I can, have plenty of choices to put my water pumps and such. And also because there are windmills you can put in the water, which is quite helpful. So I'm going to just use this one here, Islands. It's a very nice map. 60% buildable area. Isn't a ton, but it does have plenty of water options, decent amount of resources, all kinds of outside connections. And we're going to load up the game here. And I'm really just going to go through a few things here. Again, this is for people who are just starting and maybe new to City Sim games. Just kind of a few things you may want to consider and a few suggestions for when you start out. So hopefully my computer didn't just crash and burn. There we go. Come on, little bird. Keep spinning. It is nice. It gives you some nice tips here. Alright, so we start. I'm going to pause the game with space. And you start with 70,000, whatever currency this is. Apparently everyone's unhappy, even though there's no one here. And, I mean, you probably do, unless you just want to be really spontaneous. I mean, now this game is not really punishing in terms of, pre-planning. I mean, it can be. But, it's not, super harsh in that area, which is kind of good. But, I do kind of like to personally figure out a design in my head before I start stuff, so, you know, I'm not, like, putting my pumps and my sewage disposal and stuff somewhere that I might want to build later. So I would suggest kind of just doing a quick planning, you know, looking at your starting tile here and figuring out what you might want to do in general before you do anything else. Okay, so you notice right now we can't really do anything. We can't build anything. And the reason for this, I think it made a pop-up, but if it's not obvious, it may be quite confusing as to why you can't build anything. And all you have to do is just connect these two roads up. These are highways, one goes in and one goes out. Now you could draw them all the way out, that's what a lot of people do, and then connect them up there. I like to just connect them to begin with, just like that, and either leave it or bulldoze it, just so we can unlock everything. Okay, so you're going to need water and power. Really the two essential things. And I like to get these all down and set up before I even start making my streets and zoning anything. Okay, so let's start with water. You have a water pumping station. You do have a water tower for an option. It's not bad, but I actually see little to no advantage to it. To be perfectly honest, I think it is just kind of for convenience. It's smaller. It's actually more expensive. The upkeep is the same and it pumps less water. So I would suggest going with the pumping station. Now you want to figure out where you want to put it, because you will have to draw pipes from the station to wherever you need water. And you will have to draw the pipes under everything. So you kind of want it far away because there is a noise pollution around it, which is that little headphone red circle. So, and then the blue circle is kind of where it can tap into water. I'm going to go ahead and throw it like over here. It's out of the way a bit, but not so far that I'm going to spend a fortune on pipes, because you really don't want to deplete all your money to begin with. And then you have your outflow pipe, which, well, you know, it pretty much just pumps out all the shit. So, logic would say you want this downriver from your water. I would highly suggest not putting it upriver unless you want to just create, you know, a pollution, sewage-filled city of death. If we click on this water here, or if you go up into this panel and click on the water icon here, you can show, you can have it show the water current, how strong it is, and what direction it's flowing. And we can see it's not particularly strong down here. However, it does have a slightly downward flow this way. So I'm going to stick this guy right about here, and I'm actually going to bulldoze this one. And I should get my money back because I'm paused. If you do this while paused, you'll get at least some of your money back, or all of it. I'm going to build him a little more upstream. I thought I could build closer here, but I couldn't. Okay, so we have those two. Now you will actually need to connect them together because the sewage and the water does flow through the same pipe system. It obviously doesn't flow through the same exact pipe. You can see there are two separate pipes in here. But they do flow through the same pipe system, which you can see the green thing is the pipe and the blue area is the water coverage area. And I mean, they're not terribly expensive, but again, you don't want to be building it like way far away. So we have those things. And I'm just going to draw some water pipes kind of at least out to where I might want to start building, because if you're a forgetful person, you might end up forgetting to to do this, and it'll be a bad day. Okay, so we've drawn out our water pipes like this. Now we need power. You start out with several different power options, and there's quite a few in the game. You start out with your wind turbine, your coal power plant, and your... oh, this is actually an asset. It's just a coal power plant as well. But how coal power plant works is obviously powers off of coal. you can either produce coal yourself in your area, in your like in your own town, if you zone your industrial to do so, and it will do it that way. If you don't have any, or you're not getting it yourself, it will import it. But personally, I like to start with the wind turbine. I think it is far better. Number one, because it is green energy. It does not pollute. It has a decent sized noise pollution area, as you can see here. But I would rather that than this, because this does have a normal pollution area, which is indicated by the little purple bar thing there. So it's the same size, I think, as the noise pollution. Also, if we look at the cost and the upkeep and the power output, this one costs 6,000 to place, this one costs 19. So this one's a little bit more than 3 times expensive. This upkeep is 80 per week, and this is 560 per week, which is 7, if my math is correct. Yeah, 7 times the cost. However, this produces maximum 8 megawatts. This thing's maximum is 40, which means this only produces 5 times the amount of power for 3 times the cost and 7 times the upkeep. Plus it has pollution. So I think I just prefer to do these. You can do a coal one, but I think this is the wise choice to do wind turbines. Now, your placeable area for these is pretty much anywhere. The darker areas are, if you go up here to your wind, you can see calm and strong. So our dark areas here are the best places to put it, and kind of the lighter it gets, the less advantageous it would be to put it there. So we're getting 7 megawatts. We're getting 8 over here. This is less than ideal. I would really prefer here. Unfortunately, there seems to be nowhere. Oh, did I see an 8? Seems to be nowhere that's going to produce 8. Now over here produces 8, so this wouldn't be bad. You place him, and then just like the water, you're going to need to run these power poles, these high tension power lines, to wherever you need. And this blue area you see displayed around here is actually how much power it provides around it. And you can see the power lines will do the same thing a little bit once I place them. And buildings also kind of have a power radius around them, so it's kind of like run underground a bit. So you draw these out, and let's just draw it. Draw it over here. So these actually might not provide a power radius. Now you can see these are black. This means there is no power running through them. And the reason for this is because I have the game paused. Once I unpause it, you'll see they all light up. Now something to keep in mind, which is very, very important, you need to run power to your outflow pipe stations and your water pumping stations. This guy already has it. Since these two were close enough, they provide each other power automatically. But if you don't run power to these things, they won't run. It's not like SimCity where things provide their own power. So if we speed up the game, you can see, boom, they all lit up. And to demonstrate, as we close out this tutorial, I'm just going to do a very quick and dirty placement here of some residential. And we'll speed up, and some buildings will start appearing eventually. Here's one. Okay, so if we pause, I go to power it, you can see it has the same blue thing. All these buildings provide kind of a power radius. However, you still obviously need to run power lines at least to the edge of it. It's actually advisable to run them kind of alongside, right outside your zonable grid area here. Is a very good way to do it. Plus it's symmetrical, which is nice. But if I do that and just kind of bulldoze this bit here, and then they obviously have no power now, but if I were to say zone some more over here, this would kick on power for everything. because these power lines would be connected, as you can see, and they're not blocking the buildings, and it provides power to everything. And we still have $42,000 or whatever this is. We are losing quite a bit. However, this will climb quite quickly, especially once you start to put in some industrial and commercial. So I think that's actually going to be it for this tutorial. Just kind of a really quick guide walkthrough of some things to think about and do when you first start your very beginning city. And that will be it. So I do hope this was helpful to everybody. And if you have any suggestions, feedback, comments, I'd love to see them down in the comments section below. I do read every comment, and I love replying to you guys and interacting with you all. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Again, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and take care.